And welcome to episode number 4 of Two Bald Guys on the Right. And I have my new mask that I won't be wearing, but I appreciate somebody sending. I don't know if you could see that.
Yeah.
Trump 2020, no more bull. Well, this is a podcast. No more bullshit. So if I have to wear a mask, if I go to the doctor or something, I'll wear that and express myself. So a lot of craziness going on across the world as we can continue with this coronavirus. As a lot of people are calling it, the election infection. A lot of people are swearing that as soon as the election is over, things kind of get back to normal. I don't know if it does. It just seems strange. The numbers, and I'll get into the numbers coming up in a second. I will use New Mexico as a benchmark because I'm more familiar since we both live here in New Mexico, but the numbers just don't seem, I see the Big 12, the Big 10 cancels football today.
Wow.
They cancel. Now, here's the deal. Will other conferences follow? I'm doubting if the SEC in the South goes along with that. I'm just saying football is king in the South. Being a Southern boy myself, I know that football is king. They ain't canceling. That's just my own personal opinion. Think about this. Texas is currently practicing football, and Louisiana is currently practicing football because I've been to both of those states. Please do not tell my governor. But they're practicing football, and then we got colleges saying no. And NFL, we'll talk about the NFL coming up in a second. Players opting out.
Here's my thing with the Democrats. Do I think that it's all going to be over the election? Do I think everything's going to kind of calm down a little bit? Depends on, number one, depends on who wins. Number two, no, I think if the Democrats have any power whatsoever, they've learned that they can control a vast amount of the population and get them to do exactly what they want them to do. So do I think they're going to be anxious to give up control? I think the democratically led states are going to continue to do a lot of the stuff that they've learned that they can get away with.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it all the time on our morning show. Me and Will are both on morning show being the Breakfast Club. And I hear it all the time that I'm a selfish bastard and this and that because I won't wear a mask. One of them told me I was selfish for going to see my mom. My mom wanted to see me. I haven't seen her in a year and a half. She wanted to see me. What's more deadly, the coronavirus or depression?
Well, and not being able to, not being able to see your mom when she's getting up. You may not have many more opportunities.
No, I might not. So, selfish. So it leads in, we're going to lead into every week I will go on the internet and find stuff on the internet and cute memes or just some stuff that people put up there. So from Facebook, today I went online and found a bunch of stuff. So, let's go to slide number 1.
Oh, I was just double checking. We are streaming live on YouTube for the first time.
Slide number 1.
It's actually working.
Some say if you just wear a mask, the state could open up sooner. I say that if you'd have just voted Republican, we wouldn't have anything closed. There we go with number 1. Number 2, you see this lady all over the place. There's memes all over the place. I like to report somebody that's not living in fear because I do believe that fear is all about control.
I think her name is Karen.
Yeah, I think that is Karen. Number 3. Why are we wearing a mask? Why are mask wearers still discussing non-mask wearers after 6 months later? Shouldn't the non-mask wearers be dead already? Shouldn't I be dead already? Number 4. Husband and I went to the grocery store, went grocery shopping with mask on, got home, took off the mask, and I had the wrong husband. Stay alert, people.
Oops.
Stay alert. Number 5, I think I can count that high. If there is one thing Americans have learned during this pandemic is that voting for the right governor is just as important as voting for the right president.
No lie there.
Number 6. Are we banning rap music yet? It's a lot more racist than pancake syrup and, of course, Uncle Ben's rice.
Can't argue that with that
And
either.
the last one, President Trump just extended the $400 unemployment benefits through December and cut out payroll tax for those that are continuing to work. And also, we'll go into detail on some of the other things he did. All I got to say is you people on unemployment better remember your president because the Democrats could not get a deal done. So please remember your president. So let's talk about what happened today at the White House. About 4:30 this afternoon, 4:15 this afternoon, the president was abruptly escorted out of the press briefing that was going on. Roll the tape, Will Rooney.
Just about going to be topping records hopefully soon. Excuse me?
So he was abruptly rushed out of the White House press
I don't know
briefing.
how abrupt it was. He's kind of like,
I mean, it was
okay.
like, should they tell him something?
Okay, I guess we'll go.
Secret Service, oh, no. Just get the hell out of here before you say something that we don't want you to say.
We have to go now, sir.
Yeah, let's go. So the president was abruptly escorted out of the briefing room and went in there, and there was a shooting near the White House. And so this guy had a gun. And there's a couple organizations not to mess with. Secret Service is one of them. I don't know if you know this, but under those coats, I mean, they're armed pretty well. And I had the opportunity to see that up close and personal during the 2008, when John McCain came, maybe it was Sarah Palin, because they both came to Roswell, New Mexico. And so they're sweeping before the event. And a guy that works with us right now was putting the equipment together, and Secret Service came over there twice and said, you guys need to get out of the building and we will sweep it. Well, he wanted to argue with them.
Oh, of course he did.
Yeah, and
for those that know Tom A.
Yeah, just to say they kind of, took their jacket, and I was like, holy cow, that's an automatic weapon there. Come on, boy, you better get your butt out of here. But they got him out of there. So you don't mess with Secret Service. Number one, they target practice almost every day, and they're not paying for ammo. So they take advantage of that.
Right.
That's number one. And number two is that they shoot to kill. If they believe the president's life is in danger, they're going to kill you. So, by the way, a Secret Service agent was injured in that scuffle, and the guy, they shot him. It was non-lethal. He is at the hospital. And Melania Trump Ivanka Trump immediately went on Facebook and Twitter and said, thank you, Secret Service, for doing what you do. So thank you very much. How many people do not like the President of the United States? He sat back for weeks and looked at the Republicans and Democrats, and they could get nothing done. They couldn't get anything done. So Sunday, he woke up and decided, you know what? I'm going to sign an executive action.
We're just going to be done with this. No more fighting.
No, we're done.
Americans need help.
We need help. And so he signed the executive action, and the rest was history.
The Democrats were totally pissed. I think the Republicans were too, on some degree, because the Democrats were like, hey, wait a minute, what about all of our pork? We didn't get any of our pork in there.
And this leads to a couple points. There are no pork in this project.
They're mad about the tax cut, too, by the way.
And also, I don't know how to break this to you, but if you were counting on that $1,200 stimulus, you didn't say anything about that.
Yeah.
There are people that wanted to, and I would take the money. I mean, I don't need the money, and sooner or later, we're going to have to pay this money back. So the president signed that yesterday. You got video, you got a picture of that, him signing that?
I think I do. Give me one second.
And so he there he is right there. He's signed the executive order. And then Nancy Pelosi was not real happy about the whole thing. No. Make Democrats stagnant again. Let's just keep everything we don't want to do anything. So Nancy Pelosi said something very, very important. How many executive orders did Barack Obama sign?
Oh, a bunch. Towards the end of his term,
I mean,
he was just like sign.
anyway, they're upset and now they're saying, we don't know if it's legal or not.
Oh.
We don't know if it's legal or not.
Of course they're going to say that now. It was fine when Barack did it.
Yeah, it was okay when Barack Hussein Obama did it because he was Barack Obama.
Well, and did you hear what Trump said about the? Because of course the tax cut is not actually they're not actually cutting payroll tax completely. It's supposed to be paid back. It's like so you're supposed to have to pay it back. But Trump said if he gets reelected, he's going to work on legislation forgiving that tax so you don't have to repay it.
Here's the deal. For those of us that our life hasn't changed and we continued the work, I don't want the tax break because if I got to pay it back, Now, he did give some help to people with student loans. Here's the deal. If you can pay your student loans. I mean, he's not erasing them. He's just giving you a break. And when it comes to evictions, and I don't like I don't like the government getting involved in business because if I own a home and I'm paying a mortgage on that home, and all of a sudden my renters are not paying for that mortgage, then what happens? I can't afford my mortgage because I'm leveraged too. So I don't like the government getting involved in people's business, so to speak. I do like the fact that there's no pork in there. No stimulus, no pork, and the Democrats are now saying it's illegal. And I hate to tell them it's not illegal. It's not illegal, but it's probably not something that you like. But here, there's only one way for me to say it. Do your damn job, and he wouldn't have to do an executive order.
Sure.
Do your damn job. It's the same thing with immigration. It's the same thing with a lot of things going on. Do your job. Do your job. And the president doesn't have to do executive orders. It's very, very simple. Very simple. Let me take a minute to say, if you're watching us today, make sure and subscribe to our channel, our YouTube channel. And by the way, we got our buddies Curtis McKinney and Brad that have their own podcasts.
Yeah, check them out at Cranked Up Live when you get a second. We're going to have to learn how to get their graphic little cards going. But yeah, Cranked Up Live is another podcast that's for some of our buds. So if you like some of what we do, Curtis McKinney and Brad Hennington do a great job as well.
Yeah, so... and I'm sure they'll be talking about the executive action and Nancy Pelosi. All right, there was a pro-police rally in Fort Collins, Colorado that got the attention of Black Lives Matters and Antifa. So they drive to and I always thought Fort Collins was a liberal community. And I'll tell you why. I had a buddy of mine that worked in radio in Fort Collins, and there's a university there. Most of the time, university towns they're liberal.
Pretty liberal.
And so Black Lives Matters and Antifa go to the pro-police rally, and they actually ended up throwing a guy who was in a wheelchair with the American flag in a ditch. How low are you? I mean, I'm just wondering, you Antifa crowd, why do you prey on the helpless? That's a bigger question.
So we actually have video. You want to check this out?
Yeah, please.
They started it. Yeah, really nice of you dirty colonies to go after a man in a wheelchair. That's real tough of you, bud.
Yeah. This is after the cop showed up.
Did he?
Yeah.
So beforehand.
Did he jump? Well, just I don't know. Well, tell the truth. You got your part out.
So one of the Antifa guys apparently jumped a guy in the wheelchair and threw him in the ditch.
Yeah, threw him in the ditch.
As they're running away, because these guys were running them out of town.
Oh,
basically.
yeah, they ran their butts out of town. So, by the way, 3 people ended up getting arrested, and I think some of the peaceful protesters were not that peaceful.
What you missed, though, was that it was funny, too.
They were running out of town.
Oh, they were running, but then after they dumped this guy in the wheelchair out, and it was a veteran, by the way. They got in the ditch, and these guys were just beating the crud out of Antifa. They're just beating him up. And one of the guys on the bullhorn, he's sitting there and he's yelling. He's like, "All right, guys, no guns." He goes, "Keep punching him in the face, but keep your hands off your weapons."
And then there was an old Antifa guy. He looks like he's like 65, probably still living in his mom's basement. And he has a hammer, and he proceeds to try to hit this guy in the head with
And
the
as
hammer.
soon as he did, one of the other guys
Yeah.
like put a flag over and just blocked his hand, and that's all he did. It looked like he was stabbing him, but he just put that
That's
so
the
he couldn't
crazy
hit him.
thing about Antifa is they bust out the hammers, and they always prey on the weak. A guy in a wheelchair. Are you kidding me? All right, looks like black leaders are warning that Biden will lose the election if he does not name a female black running mate. Now, there was a group of black leaders, 100 black leaders, declared Joe Biden, hey, if you don't name a black female running mate or a black woman as your running mate, you will lose this election. And so they went on to say that they sent him a letter. And if you don't pick a black woman, isn't that racist in itself? If you don't pick a black woman, you're going to lose.
Yeah, it's pretty racist.
And so Joe Biden the next day was like, okay, they said pick a black woman, right? And then he goes to the Hispanic community and he says, unlike the African-American community, Latino communities are incredibly diverse.
Unlike the African, really? So the African American community is not diverse?
The campaign managers, no, Joe, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
He's just down in his basement and he just makes food. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Trump has said some pretty silly things lately too, but nothing even comparable to Joe Biden.
So if the black community, if you don't select a black person, and by the way, it looks like he's going to select a African American woman to be his running mate.
We'll find out.
It is probably going to be Kamala Harris. I'm thinking 99.1% chance it's going to be Kamala Harris.
Well, someone was saying that people were telling Kamala not to accept it.
Well, another guy recently told her, please don't. He was her campaign manager when she was running for president. Don't accept it. Don't accept it. So well, Susan Rice would be the number 2
I mean, here's
pick.
the thing. Whoever becomes vice president, chances are is going to be president if Biden wins.
Yeah, Biden will be
there's no way he's going to last.
Biden will be like, Barack, are you still here?
Yeah.
Hello?
Wait a minute. Where's Obama? He's here to save me, right? Oh, never mind.
All right, we got the numbers now. I'm gonna base the New Mexico numbers because I'm very familiar with the numbers, and I'm gonna go over these. But if you look at the United States, everybody is pretty much the percentages. You know, if you look at the percentages nationwide, everybody is fairly close. Now, a couple of states, New Jersey, New York, very, very high. Louisiana was up there. And so let's look at the numbers from New Mexico. Population, 2 million, almost 2.1 million. And they tested about 612,000 people.
This is 8/8/2020.
Yeah. And so that's about 29% of the population has been tested. 21,965 confirmed, and that's only 1%, 1.505%
of the population that actually got COVID.
Right, that actually got tested, got COVID. 1% of the population got it. How many people have been hospitalized through January of this year all the way until August 8th? 2,803.
0.13%.
0.13% of the people that tested positive actually ended up in the hospital.
So of the 20,000, only 2,800.
So here's where the proof is in the pudding. COVID-related deaths, 675 for the entire state.
Which you notice they have to say COVID-related deaths because
because
there's so many deaths that people had underlying causes that probably, like the people with cancer, people who died of other things.
Yeah.
But let's just, for argument's sake, 675. That's still only 0.03%.
0.03% of people in New Mexico have died. And if you look at the nationwide testing numbers, they could be a little bit higher, but still, with a mortality rate of 1 or 2%, I'm going to take my chances.
Odds of not dying due to COVID in New Mexico, 99.97%. I'll take those odds.
I'll take those odds every day. And if, by the way, the casino gives me those odds of winning,
Oh.
I will keep playing as long as I can put money in the slot machine. By the way, our casinos are closed.
Yeah.
And another related story from New Mexico. We have such a problem with cartels in this state. And our judicial system sucks. I mean, we got, a slap on the wrist. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Over the weekend, they charged 2 young guys. You're not going to believe this. So they charged them with, they had a car show. So the hell with the cartels. We're going after the car clubs in New Mexico.
Oh, so yeah, the lawbreakers, the peaceful protests that actually aren't peaceful,
Yeah.
that murder and steal and all these different things. Albuquerque, you guys can run wild. We're not calling the federal government, but that's okay.
I see them tearing down Statue. Well, look, we're talking about 3 months. It's like I think 10 weeks after the story of George Floyd, and they're still holding nightly, protests.
Riots.
But
You can
these
say
guys
riots.
showing off
It's
their
okay.
cars, these are good citizens that are just going out there and want to show off their cars. And 2 of them were arrested for it because they put it on social media. They're having a car show.
So they arrested him on what charges, though?
Violating the health order and I think it was disorderly conduct.
But it's not a law. I understand,
It's
but
not a
they're not
law.
supposed to be able to be arrested. They're
But
supposed to be
these guys
fined.
were actually booked in the jail.
Aren't they supposed to just be fined? Did they do something else to
I
get
don't know.
arrested? We're going to have to find out more.
Looks like the Ohio governor. Now, this is a crazy story because I hear more and more of this about people going to get tested and they leave and they're never tested, but all of a sudden they're supposedly, oh, wait, did they get a call? Hey, you tested positive. I
Right.
never took the test. What are you talking about? So the Ohio governor, Mike DeWine, tested negative for the coronavirus. And then he tested positive and then tested negative during the same day. So in one day, he tested positive and then tested negative.
How does that work?
I don't know. So days after the roller coaster, him testing positive in the morning, negative at night. The reason for the discrepancy from the test administrators is not clear at this time. We have no idea why he tested positive in the morning, negative in the afternoon. How many more people do we have that it actually they tested, they went and got tested and they were positive, and they didn't go back and get tested again?
But there's been a bunch of people who've had false positives or who were told, they went to go get tested, the line was too long, they gave their name, but they decided, you know what, I'm just going to leave. And they came back. They got calls later saying, hey, by the way,
Right.
your test was positive. They're like, wait a minute, I never actually went through with the test.
So one night during two ball guys on the right, I am going to put down the Red Bull and we're going to drink some beer in here.
Really?
Or maybe one night, for those that don't know, I do my medical marijuana at night, a little piece of gummy. I will take my gummy early in the afternoon.
Great.
Because
So
it takes about 2 hours
we're
to
gonna have
kick in.
B high on his gummy bear.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
and that should be a great show.
So rather than Red Bull,
Very, very mellow.
medical marijuana gummy. That's fantastic.
Very mellow. All right. It's blatant racism. Blatant. Illinois district, there are actually 2 school districts that combined into one. Anyway, they're going to allow students of color to go back to school first.
What?
They're going to push the students of color to the front of the line. Suburban Chicago School District has said that students of color will get the chance to return to in-person learning when school reopens.
Let's just go ahead and
Yeah, and here's the
Give them
reason
the
why.
front.
Because of past inequality and racism.
whatever.
So the District 65, which includes Everston and Stuckey, won't force teachers to work on site, but when they return, students of color, and it goes on to say, brown and black kids will go back to school first. And by the way, if you're a member of the LGBT XYZ, you will be along with them and you can go first. White kids, sorry, you're going to the back of the bus. We can't, We can't have white kids in the class with, we need to segregate these kids. Wait, I think we've done that before. Michigan grandmother. She's 103 years old. Had a bucket list. And she has been trying to get the bucket list. She wants to cross everything off the bucket list. So Dorothy Pollock, Muskogee, Michigan, went to a tattoo parlor with her granddaughter. And I think it's pretty cool that the granddaughter actually took her and she got a small green frog tattooed on her arm. And which leads me to ask, I'm old, and I have tattoos, but the older you get, your skin becomes more elastic. It's kind of like my bulldog. So how hard is it to tattoo a really, really old person?
It's got to be a little harder, I would think.
I would think it would be.
Some of the wrinkles and some of the skin.
I think it would be.
Does it hurt her more? I'm wondering if she's feels more pain.
Maybe. All right. Looks like a Mississippi coroner states that the coronavirus death tally is misleading, causing unnecessary fear to the public. So we've got a coroner that comes out and says, hold up, wait a second. DeSoto County coroner in Northwest Mississippi wrote on his Facebook page that this has all been blown out of proportion, because he said a lot of people that died from what they said is coronavirus is not actually coronavirus. How many more? I think when this is all said and done, we start counting everything, it's going to be unbelievable. The numbers are going to be unbelievable. All right, Trump campaign knocks on 1 million doors.
Wow.
In a week. Joe Biden's campaign, how many doors has he knocked on?
0.
They got that guy so far in the basement, he can't do anything. So the Biden campaign they haven't knocked on any doors. The Trump campaign going door to door, and it's amazing the picture. I didn't say you this. Coincidence or not that's an African-American woman knocking on doors for Trump?
Wow, that's awesome.
No.
That's awesome.
That's not a coincidence.
That's awesome.
But so they're knocking on doors, and they say they'll continue to knock on doors. A lot of states have said, look, we don't want you going politicking door to door.
They had pretty much said that in this state.
Yeah, in this state, they've said no.
So in New Mexico, the governor but then she walked it back. Initially, she said no.
Yeah, and then she walked it back.
Then she walked it back.
All right, so every couple months, they come out with something different for kids to do. You remember the whole idea of planking, kids planking in the middle of the road?
There was planking, the Tide Pod challenge.
Tide Pod. There was something after that, though.
Yeah, there were several.
So
I can't keep up.
Now the new thing is the Benadryl challenge. Well, show the picture of these kids. Now they took 10 Benadryls, and this is a TikTok challenge.
10?
10 Benadryls.
Good.
3 of these kids in Texas were taken to the hospital because they took up to 10 Benadryls. Cook Children's Medical Center in Fort Worth says that to be very careful with your kids. They had a 14-year-old and then another 14-year-old and a 12-year-old taken to the hospital recently because their parents thought they were overdosing. Look, if I take one Benadryl.
I was going to say, I don't know about you, B, but Benadryl has a weird effect on me.
I can't take Benadryl.
And I'm a more than full-grown man, so I can't imagine a teenager, especially a small teenager, taking 10?
10 Benadryls.
Good.
And to me, the next day, if I take Benadryls, a lot of people take Benadryls to sleep.
No.
They took 10 Benadryls. And their parents were worried, because they might not wake up after 10 Benadryls. Look, I get it. It's over the counter. But 10 Benadryls? That's nuts. Los Angeles. There's a ballot measure that's going to be on the ballot in November to shift nearly $900 million away from law enforcement. And if there's one place that law enforcement is needed, it would be Los Angeles, Chicago, and all the other
Democratic-controlled cities, for sure.
So
can we not blame the cops in these cities? Can we please start blaming the actual people that are to blame for this, the criminals and the politicians? And I know realize that's kind of an oxymoron because they're kind of the same thing. But the criminals are the first things that should be blamed. The politicians are the second
For
because
pandering to these fools.
they're the ones that are allowing these systems to continue to degrade.
Yep. So the law said they voted 4-1 to include the amendment to re-image Los Angeles County. Re-image. Here's what you need to do. You need to put criminals in jail. Number one. And number two, if you have a criminal alien that goes to jail, send their butt back where they came from. This is a podcast, so I can say whatever the hell I want.
Well, here's the thing, too.
Send them back!
I'm sorry. You know, I understand that there are people coming here from another country that are trying to escape persecution, escape this or that. That's fine. There's ways that you can try to come here legally.
My wife is immigrant, by the way.
But if you can't, and you're going to, but when you get here, by God, you better not be breaking any laws. And if you do, other than the law you broke to get here, but if you're a criminal on top of that and you're breaking laws while you're here illegally, bye-bye.
Send them home. Do like every country in the world does. Every country in the world, including where Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador. Not that anybody would want to, you know.
Oh, yeah, but America is such an evil country because we allow all these people, millions, to immigrate here all the time. But we're evil.
Legal immigrants.
But we're evil for sending the ones that break the law back.
You break the law, and to me, if you come here and get a DUI, send them back. If you come here and deal drugs, send them back.
Gone.
But a lot of people are like, well, it's only
human
a DUI.
Trafficking, rape,
whatever
murder,
it is.
assault.
Send them
gone.
back. Send them back. You know what? You came here, you gave it a shot, you decided to break the law, you're done.
Yeah.
Finish. I don't think it should even be up to discussion. Send them back. They broke the law.
Let's put the people who are actually here that actually have an asylum claim, who actually are fleeing persecution.
Right.
Or actually,
I'm good with them.
Or people, exactly. Or people who actually want to contribute to our society and are dying to be an American, to actually, and want to adopt the culture. Not bring their culture here. Now, don't get me wrong. I welcome us. We're a melting pot. Let's have all the culture.
No doubt.
But when you come here, you have to respect the fact.
You have to embrace the American way.
Hey, we want to, just like, you don't want to be like Californians moving into other states saying, hey, we want to make you as crappy as our state.
No, those are like locusts. They gobble up their estate and then they come up here and try.
I saw a new T-shirt
to
said something,
gobble up ours.
Please don't Californiaize New Mexico or something like that.
I mean, the
they're
thing
doing
is,
it to Texas too.
I love immigrants. Like I said, my wife is an immigrant. And the process is tedious. I get it, and it's costly. I get it,
and we should work to reform it.
But we need a way to vet people and make sure that bad people are not coming here. And if we have bad people here and they break the law, send their butt back. And I love when people say you're separating families. If I got a DUI tonight driving home.
Guess what? You're not going to stay home with your family, are you?
I'm separated from my family, so shut up already.
Yeah. If you're putting yourself at risk when you do that initially. Now, some people think it's a risk. And honest to God, if you're living in such squalor and it's such a bad place, maybe an ICE detention center where they're being able to play Xbox and PlayStation isn't as bad. Don't get me wrong. I understand that not everywhere is like that.
No.
But by the same standpoint, we've seen plenty, as we're here on the border, that are.
Yeah. I mean, I personally seen when they were housing the folks in Artesia, New Mexico at the Flexi Center. My God.
Those kids were
treated
they were high
well.
on the hog.
And I feel sorry for the people. There's a show on Netflix right now. I talked a little bit about it on the morning show this morning. I think it's called Nation of Immigrants. And the part about separating families, I had no problem with that. But the folks that served our country in the military, and then we deport them because their papers aren't right.
Man.
I think there should be an automatic, and I think President Trump should be the guy that does it.
I thought they were automatically.
If you served there, well, you got to fill out the paperwork.
Well, okay.
If you served this country in the military, there is no way in hell we should ever deport you because you gave blood for this country. That's your ticket. You should not have to do one other thing.
Well, and even if they do, so they have to fill out the paperwork. Here's the thing. If they didn't fill out the paperwork because they did serve, they ought to get some kind of exception.
Yeah, I agree. All right, coronavirus. Looks like we talked about the Big Ten. Could other conferences, I think Mountain West, also canceled their season. Will the other big teams, big conferences cancel? I don't know. But 66 players in the NFL have opted out of playing because of coronavirus. 66 players. Now, big question is, will they get paid? Will they get paid because they're not playing?
Do we know yet? I mean, are they going to get paid?
Well, some of them are going to. Half of these people that opted out are linemen, the big boys.
Well,
And players with a medical opt-out receive $350,000 stipend, while those voluntarily opting out will only get $150,000 as an advance on future earnings.
okay. So
So
that's assuming that they play for them.
Well, if they don't play anymore, I
Then-
don't know how that works.
Then they'd have to pay it back, I'm guessing.
But think about it. You got these guys that are making millions. They're only going to get $250,000 or $150,000, which, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money. But at the same time, it ain't $20 million a season or whatever it is.
Right.
All right. Last week we saw it. The ship carrying munitions blew up in Beirut. Now, Beirut is not a place where anybody would like to be for a lot of time. Remember, they blew up our Marine base, and it turned out to be an oligarch from Russia abandoned that ship, and it just stayed there. He abandoned it in like 2014, and it just stayed there. Have you heard any new information about it? I mean, it killed over 100 people.
Did you see the where they changed the camera angle and looks like what it looks like a missile coming down?
Yeah, it
and
looks
hitting
like
the ship?
somebody dropped the bomb on it. So the Russian oligarch just abandoned the ship, and what happened, we don't know.
Storing ammonium nitrate, apparently.
So that happened on Tuesday, a day after our last podcast, and a lot of people were speculating that somebody blew up that ship. I don't know. All right, Sturgis, look here, no mask, and over 250,000 bikers in Sturgis. The streets were lined with bikers from every state in the union. I know a lot of people have that on their bucket list to go to Sturgis.
They don't look like they're socially distanced either.
They were not social distancing.
Hell yeah.
And
Good for them.
I watched some of the videos, and let me just say, evidently looking at boobs will prevent you from getting coronavirus, because there are a lot of people
If that's a yeah, then
flashing.
I'm good. Count me in.
So a lot of old ladies were flashing, folks.
Oh, well, never mind. Count me out.
Well, no, I'm saying, like that's biker lingo.
Oh, okay.
My old lady.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So I guess I shouldn't be ageist, because that's not even sexist, is
So
it?
250,000 bikers. Now, we know that South Dakota's numbers were way, way down.
Yeah.
But they've got people coming from all over the place and not wearing masks. And the governor said, hey, I welcome these people.
Well, South Dakota never shut down, period.
They never shut down. And so a lot of people went to Sturgis. It's Bike Week in Sturgis. Bringing me to a subject, speaking of, biker chicks, and especially the biker chicks that have been somebody's old lady for a long time.
Right.
And I don't know if it's just it's a guy thing, but think about this, because I'm just as bad as everybody else. Boobs are like a magnet to guys. And it doesn't even matter if they're ugly boobs. If they're like, some biker boobs.
You're still going to look.
That, like she flashes you and they drop down to her waist. We're still going to look, because they're like magnets to us.
It's kind of, even if it's scary, you're still like curiosity, and you just can't look away. It's like a train wreck.
To put them back in, she just kind of goes.
Just stop. So one of our friends who's a loyal listener actually hit me a message on Instant Messenger, said, where was Antifa?
No, Antifa did not show up. Black Lives Matters did not show up.
Although they said that they were going to ransack Sturgis if we did it.
Now, I would have paid pay-per-view for Antifa to show up to Sturgis, because I think it would have been a great 5 minutes of entertainment.
I'm just saying, if these guys in Fort Collins, Colorado kicked Antifa's butt, can you imagine what the bikers in Sturgis would have done?
Oh, it would have been funny.
It would have been bad.
It would have been really bad. All right, CNN made a big deal about people giving up their citizenship. And every year there are people that give up their citizenship. So CNN kind of made the story that these people are giving up their citizenship because America is such a terrible place to live. But I did a little research. More than 5,800 Americans gave up their citizenship in the first 6 months of 2020 compared to 2,072 Americans who renounced their citizenship in 2019. But if you look at the total amount over the last 10 years, it averages about 4,500 to 3,000. And part of the reason people give up their citizenship in America, part of the reason is because of taxes. And some of them are actors. We saw that, was it Tom Hanks?
Yeah, Tom Hanks is now a Greek citizen. I don't know, did he give up his American citizenship or just become a Greek citizen?
You can be a dual citizen.
I think he's a dual citizen. I don't think he gave up his American citizenship.
But part of the reason why people give up their citizenship, if they're extremely wealthy, they're tired of paying money. They are tired of, what's the tax rate? What's the highest tax rate in the United States? 36%, right?
Yeah.
So 36% is your tax rate. Plus you add state tax. And if you live in New York City, you got a city tax.
Sure you do.
So all of a sudden you're paying over 55% in taxes. So if you make $1, do you want to give me 50 cents?
No, not really.
Well, why not?
Because it's my money. I worked for it, and I need every penny.
See, that's why people leave, because if they have the money to leave and they can go and pay less taxes, like in Ireland, your top bracket's 15%. Of course I'm going to move to Ireland. And a lot of these small countries have no taxes. So if you're rich, you're done, you're retired, whatever the case is, it does kind of make sense. Except that you're renouncing your citizenship to the greatest country in the world, all over monetary gains. I get both sides of this. I do.
You know, it's just more of an argument for a flat tax, more of an argument for a lot of different. Just we need some serious tax reform.
Here's the deal, and I'm not picking on anybody, but we have a serious problem in this country, and I'm going to tell you the biggest scam out there: earned income credit. So you get all this money back because you have kids. Now, there are a lot of people that will work 1 or 2 months, and then they get $7,000 back.
Oh, yeah. Trust me.
And here's the other scam. So that's the biggest scam, earned income credit, because it is very abused for people that work 1 month out of the year, and then they get all this money back on their income tax. I always like to ask people, what is your net income tax rate? And a huge majority of Americans, their net income tax rate is a negative. They're not paying taxes.
Wow.
So scam number 2. Say you got a baby's mama. She's living in public housing. She's on food stamps. Her kid's on Medicaid. So she's getting all the bennies. And
child support.
And no child support.
Okay.
Because she's still with the baby's daddies.
Oh, she is. Okay.
And he's working a job as a welder, but they don't claim that they're not married. So they have an $80,000 pickup truck.
Yeah.
They could be living in a $150,000, $200,000 home that's all in his name. And there should be a process when you go to get benefits. They say, okay, who's the daddy? Who is the daddy of these kids? And then from there, they check and go, well, he's employed. Why is he not paying for his own kids?
There.
Why is Uncle Sam having to, pick up the tab? I know that's not popular with a lot of people because you're scamming the system yourself.
Sure. Unfortunately, this way the system is, it encourages people to scam
easy.
it.
And so let me just say to the people doing this, Uncle Sam is not your baby's daddy. All right. We got a lot of stores that are closing. I read that 26,000 restaurants are closing this year, and they are not coming back.
Never.
We know that Macy's, Neiman Marcus, all these big stores, huge stores, department stores, I don't think they're coming back. I don't think they're coming back. I think malls are gone. In the next 10 years, there will be no malls.
Wow.
Nothing. I think a lot of mom and pops are closing after the COVID-19, and they're not coming back. So Amazon is looking for spaces for fulfillment centers. So when you buy something at Amazon, you would go and pick up the package directly. Now, they already do this in the big stores. Well, you lived in Lubbock for a little while, and you could get your packages the next day.
I could.
By going to the Amazon store.
They just have it's like a post office. You walk in, they have all these boxes. You put in your code or scan your code, and from your phone, walk over, the box opens, you grab your box and take off.
So they're planning to take over the JCPenney's and Sears stores and make it Amazon Fulfillment Center, according to the Wall Street Journal. Simmons Property is one of the largest mall owners in the United States, and they know that it's going south. They know that malls are not as popular as they were. Do you remember in the 80s, everybody would be at the mall?
Oh, yeah.
Like on a Friday and Saturday night, every kid, 12, 13, 14 years old, would be at the mall. Their parents would just drop them off at the mall. The mall was the babysitter of the 80s and 90s.
It really was.
It really was.
The malls, and in particular, the arcades.
So it looks like Amazon's going to be taking over Sears and Penney's. And we know that Sears and Penney's have both filed bankruptcy. And Sears is pretty much, we have some hometown stores. Is that what it's called? Hometown Sears stores? They're their own.
Right.
They're franchisees.
Sure.
But Penney's, it doesn't look like they're along for the world. And part of Penney's problem, they never had the fortitude to see that things were changing.
Right.
And they never change with the time. And that is the number one killer for any business, that when you don't change with the times. All right, a coronavirus mask dispute led to a Washington man's arrest as he assaulted a 72-year-old veteran. Man in Washington State arrested Saturday, charged with assault after he allegedly broke the jaw of a 72-year-old man.
Ouch.
By the way, the guy is a veteran. It happened in a lobby of a hotel. The dispute was over a mask. Cody Hansen, 35 years old, was arrested at his home in Spokane, Washington on Saturday after police received an anonymous tip. He had been charged with second-degree assault after he beat this guy over a mask. And Hansen is 35 years old. He is accused of attacking a 72-year-old veteran at the Red Lion Inn in Kent, Washington. Surveillance video shows a man, later identified as Hansen, approaching a disabled man sitting in the lobby with a cane with his dog nearby. Hansen allegedly punched the victim several times, rendering him unconscious, and walked away. This was all over a mask. It seems as though the victim told officers that he made a remark about Hansen's girlfriend not wearing a mask, and the guy beat the crap out of a 72 years old. By the way, Hansen also is wanted in Alaska on drug charges.
Oh wow! So I thought that was going to go the other way. So the old man was given the guy a hard time because his girlfriend wasn't wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Wow. And so he beat the crap out of the
72-year-old.
Come on, dude.
Whatever happened to respecting your elders? Is that a thing of the past?
I guess.
So I have I didn't download the video, but there's a story out of Washington State. A couple, they actually pushed a bunch of teenagers for not having a mask on, and they weren't practicing social distancing either. So I don't get the whole thing. Look, if your mask works, leave me alone. We
went through the numbers earlier on coronaviruses and how you have a 99.97 chance to survive. Oh, there you go.
There you go. I couldn't.
But that being said, if you're under a certain age, that chance even gets lower.
Right.
I mean, you have less of a chance to die.
Right.
So more of a chance to survive. So if you're in your 20s or even your 30s in a lot of cases. So, but if you're a teenager, you have a minuscule chance to die from COVID.
I hate to say that I think people are playing this for everything it's worth. Do you remember last week the president was attacked because he said that kids are almost immune to the coronavirus. You remember that?
Which is not wrong.
I mean, and then the next day, a 6-year-old from Tennessee dies.
Well,
and God rest his little soul.
don't get me wrong. Is it possible? Sure, but
The odds are so low.
yeah.
So low. How many kids die from the common flu or pneumonia? The number is fairly high.
It probably is, but I know myself, I had pneumonia at a really young age. Both me and my brother both had pneumonia at a super young age. I remember in a playpen, we had to have the little playpen with saran wrap all around it. With the whole, because we had pneumonia.
Yeah, well, my mom would put that humidifier in the room with that Vicks, and that pretty much kills everything. I mean, there's not a disease around that will live through the Vicks. I mean,
that's the cure
Vicks
for everything. But try to see how the Vicks is.
And by the way, if you were raised in like a Hispanic family, they put the Vicks, rub it on your chest, and then they get out the green alcohol with a weed with marijuana in there.
Oh yeah,
and rub that all over your body.
I thought you were gonna say they just give you a bunch of hot sauce.
It's gotta have the marijuana.
We're just gonna burn it out with a jalapeno.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Sorry, New Mexico jokes.
Yeah, it's a big New Mexico joke. So that's pretty much all I have, Will, unless you got some. One more thing. I saw New York is going to open up their restaurants.
Yeah, in 2021. June. No, not like January. June of 2021. 10 months from now.
So all you people that invested in restaurants in New York State, you're screwed.
Bye-bye.
All the workers, you're screwed. I feel really bad because
this is according to Cuomo, by the way.
Yeah, this is the governor who said 2021 they're going to open June of 2021 they're going to open up the restaurants. So I feel really bad for the restaurant owners that invested their life savings to start a restaurant and people that work for them. Here in New Mexico, the governor opened the restaurants. Everything was good, 50% capacity, or maybe it was 25% capacity. Everything was good. And all of a sudden she said she had the data that more people were contacting the coronavirus
inside
restaurants, not at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's.
Not at peaceful protests.
No, not at peaceful protests, but inside the restaurants. How she got this information, we don't know. But the point is, these people had just gone back to work, and she shut them down again a couple of weeks ago. And people are back. So these people got off unemployment, went back to work, and are now on unemployment. Back on unemployment. Their life is not a yo-yo.
No.
And it all goes back to elections have consequences. Elections have consequences.
They need to anyway.
I cannot say
the
with
next
more
ones
importance how important this November's election is. I can't say how it's just so important, not only to me, but to the future of this great country. If you want things to be completely back-assward, do like New Mexico has done for the past 80 years. Keep voting in Democrats. Keep voting in progressive liberals.
Look at the states that are having the most trouble. And look at the areas that continue to decline. And I'm not talking about the COVID, foe that they're putting out there about Florida and Texas, which California is worse. But of course, the liberal media doesn't talk about California at all, even though it's the highest of all of them. No, let's actually talk about the fact that all of these democratically run cities and democratically run states are completely going down the tubes and have the highest crime rate. Chicago, L.A. There you go, Pete. So all of these different cities, and yet we're going to continue to have these people in charge. Pelosi, Schumer, Cuomo, Newsom. I mean, you name it. They're all just a bunch of jokers, and you're giving these same people the same power to continue to do the same thing to you over and over and over. I'm not saying that all Republicans are better, but there are people out there that are better than these guys.
So November is very important. Please get out and vote. And if you can, vote red. By the way, if you're going to vote blue, just don't show up. I mean, The election for people that are going to vote blue, I think, is on November 5th.
Yeah.
So show up on the 5th and make sure and cast your ballot on the 5th. Republicans vote on the 3rd. Democrats vote on the 5th. That's a new thing that Trump has just put forward.
Yeah, let's see if we can make that work.
Yeah,
So,
make sure and vote.
Here's the thing, and whenever you can, go to the polls yourself. I know there's going to be people that have to do absentee, but this universal mail-in thing, we've already had the experience.
We've experienced how many ballots are missed
in New Mexico. We've had several issues ourselves. We were one of the states that made the news, didn't make enough news, unfortunately, about some elections getting rigged towards the end there, and that's not something we want to have happen.
2 years ago, how many ballots from people going to the polls and voting? How many ballots came up missing in Florida, New Mexico, Ohio? The list goes on and on. How many ballots they found? Oh, I forgot these in the trunk of my car.
Oh yeah, we just happen to find these, and they happen to sway the
by
vote
the way,
one way or the other.
I'm not doing cocaine or something. I know my nose itched. Okay,
Corona.
I probably got Rona, but I'm not doing cocaine. Do not start that rumor.
Hey, we're not social distance. We're in trouble now.
So
put that mask back on.
But think about all the people that. All the ballots that showed up winning. Here in New Mexico, we had a congressional race that the lady with the Republican went to bed at night thinking that she won.
Yeah, woke up and they had changed
then they
the
said,
vote.
wait a second, we found 3,000 more ballots, and they're all for the Democratic candidate.
Oops.
Oh, my goodness. How did that happen?
How did that happen?
So if they will steal elections. If they will steal the elections while you go to the poll, you don't damn think they'll steal elections?
I saw another meme from our buddy. We were talking about Curtis and Brad and Cranked Up Live. By the way, check out their podcast, Cranked Up Live on YouTube. But I saw a meme from Brad. He posted on Facebook and said, look, if the FBI will lie to get rid of Trump, you don't think that they'll rig elections to do it?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
And we'll hear about the Russian collusion again coming up in 2021, I'm sure. So please get out to the polls and vote. And you know what? I will, if I have to crawl to the polls, I will vote. And here's the deal. If they say I have to have a mask on, that is one place I will wear a mask. I'm not going to even fight them. I know some people will be surprised that I'm not going to fight them, but we have a sacred duty in this country to vote. We have a sacred duty. And if they say I have to wear a mask, I'll put on the mask. Now, I probably can't wear my Trump mask because you can't wear any political shirts.
Really?
But I'm encouraging people to wear red. Wear red. Yeah, you can't wear political shirts to the polls.
Huh, I didn't know
They
that.
will make you turn the shirt inside out.
Really?
Even at the general election when Trump wasn't even running in this state, you can't even wear. So wear red if you would to the polls, and let's really make America great this time. We look at the stock market. We're still at almost 28,000. When Trump took office, we're at 11,000. If you have a 401k, check your 401k and say thank you. If you're unemployed, tell the president thank you for that $400 that you just got, because the Democrats didn't do anything. They didn't do a damn thing. So thank the president, vote for the president, and let's turn this country around.
There you go.
God bless America. God bless you. Hey, don't forget, if you have a chance, subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure and share these videos with your friends, and encourage them to subscribe to the YouTube channel also. This is me and Will's retirement fund. We're trying to get monetized to make money. And this said, look, our retirement is in your hands. So
not gonna
just
happen.
do the damn job.
Not gonna happen.
Go subscribe on Facebook and share. On YouTube and like us and subscribe.
We're gonna have to say a lot more inflammatory crap if we want to go viral like that. So
and look,
I'm not encouraging you.
If we're not at 300 subscribers by Monday, I'm going to show naked pictures of Hillary Clinton.
Oh.
I swear to God, I'll do it. If you don't go,
please,
I will do it.
Please subscribe.
I will show naked pictures of Hillary Clinton.
just subscribe.
And I'll also show naked pictures of Michelle Obama, too.
Oh.
And I'm very intimidated. She's very well endowed.
Please.
So don't make me show the pictures.
B.
Don't make me show the pictures. So please just go subscribe.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Two Bald Guys on the right. We'll be back again next Friday or next Monday night. So 7 p.m. right here on YouTube. And, of course, we'll share some on Facebook,
You know
too.
what's crazy is when I retired to the Philippines, this show is going to be like at 7 in the morning or something.
7 in the morning.
No, it'll be like 8 o'clock in the morning.
So we're going to continue to do this well into the
so
time.
it's gonna be interesting. So
It'll be fun.
it'll be fun. I'll be doing it in the morning and get my my dose of Red Bull, and I'll be ready to go. You guys have a great week, and don't forget, God bless America. And if you're not registered to vote, please get registered to vote. Don't forget, Democrats, your day to go to the polls. November 5th. They're kind of segregating the Democrats from the Republicans.
They're giving you your own special day.
Yeah, they're giving you your own special day.
So, don't even bother showing up until November 5th.
Don't mail in your ballot. Because,
No.
We've set this day aside for you. It's November 5th.
It's special for you.
Get it done. Subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and help us out because you know what? We need love too.
We appreciate it. Two Bald Guys on the right. Out.